Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Bala Gowthaman. We take a look at some of the new trends that are emerging out of Tamil Nadu that cause concern. We've touched about this in a previous conversation, but today we are going to take a look at it in greater depth. To understand all this and more, let's welcome Gowthaman. But before that, please like this video, and at some time in the middle, I'll tell you how to join our WhatsApp channel. Let's welcome Bala Gowthaman. Gowthaman, namaskar. Jai Sri Ram. How are you, sir?
Namaste, Jai Sri Ram. Doing great as always.
Wonderful, sir. And thankful to you for taking time out. You are going some places and then you found a place to stop and come online on this one. So, Gowthaman, first question for you. You have done a documentary showing some of the things where a particular community is taking advantage or perhaps even going beyond that, pushing the boundaries of law and doing things that could be used in different purposes, perhaps even for anti-national needs. Now, you had talked about this briefly in one conversation before. I'd like you to take us back to that. But there was an interesting incident that took place. Talk to us about how a heart transplant was performed. We'll start from there, and then we'll go to the other possible nefarious effects of this. Over to you, sir.
So this happened in Ramanathapuram district. A patient that patient is to be carried from Ramanathapuram to Pondicherry. So they choose the East Coast Road. This East Coast Road in Tamil Nadu, it starts from Tiruvallur district, that is near Ponneri. It goes up to Kanyakumari. So up to from Kanyakumari, Tirunelveli, Thoothukudi, to these three districts, you can't even find any Hindu or a Christian in the fisherman community. All are converted to Christianity. And from Thoothukudi, from the end of Thoothukudi district up to Chennai, the entire East Coast Road, this is firmly under the control of the Muslims. So they want to take a patient from Ramanathapuram district to Pondicherry, which is roughly around 6 districts after that. When the road passes from Ramanathapuram, then it goes to Pudukkottai and then Tanjavur, Thiruvarur and Nagapattinam and Kadalur, and then it reaches Pondicherry. This is the route. So what they did is they cleared the traffic for this ambulance to pass. For that, they used WhatsApp as a medium of communication, where they decided not to use the regular telephone. So local Muslims were asked in some of the places like Kadubava Chatram or Adiramapatnam. These are some places where you have a bit of traffic. So the local Muslim organizations, they liaised with the police to clear the traffic so that this entire ambulance and its convoy passed to Pondicherry within 2 to 2.5 hours. So the entire road was managed by all the Muslim organizations together. So why this is an issue? It's a noble thing that a person is being transported for a medical emergency from one place to other. But the thing that we need to know is the presence of Muslim organizations in this entire route, where an entire traffic can be controlled by those such of Muslim organizations for a distance of more than say around 200 plus kilometers. And that is something that we need to understand. So we have to understand the chain in that road. That is the frequency of Muslim settlements in that road, and the presence of those Muslim organizations. The organization which organized the entire thing is Tamil Nadu Muslim Munnetra Kazhagam and Popular Front of India. Popular Front of India is it's a banned organization in India. Tamil Nadu Muslim Munnetra Kazhagam is previously, the founder of the organization was previously the part of CIMI. He is a member of the CIMI, then he came out of CIMI and he started this organization. So the presence of this organization to take control of an entire stretch of road, and this is something which is baffling. And okay, it's a noble cause. I mean, I don't dispute that. But what we need to understand, without the government's help, if these organizations can control the entire coastal stretch of the state, then imagine how much they are influential in that particular part. And this is one thing which we need to understand. And number two, I did a survey, as you pointed out. This survey I started in 2012 and finished in 2016. In every 10 to 15 kilometers duration, there will be a mosque, a madrasa, or a Muslim settlement along this road. Previously, it was not populated by Muslims. From the hinterland, they pushed towards these borders of Tamil Nadu, towards this entire coastal region. And the minarets of the mosques which are situated along this east coast road, all of them will have a ladder to climb up, and they will all have a light. I went inside the sea to shoot videos on the height of the minarets and how much they are visible, and how much they can influence the movement in the sea. And I can notice even our lighthouses are not that taller than the minarets by the government. This is one thing that I noted when I saw it from deep inside the sea. A similar pattern you can see in Rajasthan. When you travel through Rajasthan, through the border areas with the Pakistan, you can see taller minarets with the lights attached. The same thing I find in Bengal. So this is a similarity which I can see along the borders of the country. And again, the fishermen community in this entire stretch, they are Hindus, but the fishing business is now in the hands of the Muslims. So what happened now is the fishing community is under the influence of the Muslim, and most of the businesses like supermarkets, grocery shops, communication network like mobile recharge shop, all these things were with the Muslims. I mean, I can say in some places they are only with the Muslims. So the entire coastal community are now dependent on the Muslim population. Consequently, what happened after 2008, 2009, after the demise of LTT, the entire sea coast is now taken over by smugglers who belongs to the Muslim community. When LTT was there, they can't go and do business over there. And again, in this intermediate time, the district of Mannar, after LTT, it has fastly become a Muslim dominant district. That is the closest district to the Sri Lankan coast. This is in Sri Lanka. And again, in Tamil Nadu, Ramanathapuram, this is the closest district to Sri Lanka. That is now having around 16 to 17% Muslim population. And most of the Muslim population are towards the coastal side of it. And recently, the government has busted a racket where the tramadol, a tablet, this is being smuggled from India to Syria for ISIS fighters, and this goes through this Ramanathapuram coast, and it reached Sri Lanka, and from Sri Lanka it went on to Italy, where the police there in Italy, they caught that consignment, and then only we come to know that this is the route through which it is going very regularly. And now it is very often in all the newspapers that you are seeing news that drugs are smuggled through Sri Lankan coast, gold is smuggled through this coast. It has become a very common news nowadays. So this is again, it is the earlier, in one of our earlier programs, I mentioned you this. Punjab is the entry point to India, and the Tamil Nadu is an exit point. So then this is why this is happening in Tamil Nadu, because the entire ECR, the East Coast Road, is under the firm grip of the Muslims. And when I was there, when going into the sea and taking videos of those things, was there in a boat. The person who is riding the boat, he told me that, okay, now we are going to take the boat off to this particular coast. I asked him why, because I want to do some more research on this. He said, no, this is the time where Coast Guard is going to come. So after the Coast Guard goes out of this place, we will again go inside. As rightly pointed out, within the next 10 to 15 minutes, a Coast Guard, patrol vehicle that passed through the sea. And see, this is how the movement of government of India's Coast Guard, Navy are so predictable. I don't know how it is happening.
So many things come to my mind. One is that people are able to take law onto their own hands and essentially execute with impunity. And see, just like you said about one community more or less managing a considerable amount of the coastline, you have another community that manages the intelligence network of Tamil Nadu. You know which community I'm talking about. This community is so
I can be
strong.
very open on that. It is the Christian community which is dominating. We know that, and it's again linked to the coastal cover insecurity alone. The previous DGP of Tamil Nadu, Mr. 𝗤𝘍𝙗𝘍, he was ADGP of Coastal Police. That is the Marine Police Concentration. That is what a coastal ADGP. This is the term we call. He belongs to the Christian community, and during his period, in my documentary that was released in 2016, I have documented most of the police check outposts which were there in the coastal area, mostly abandoned. It was there in the documentary for everyone to see. I documented this entire coast. I have traveled not less than 30 to 40 times along this entire stretch. To shoot this documentary. So it's hand in glove. And none of these guys will go south of Ramanathapuram district. Because south of Ramanathapuram district, the next 3 districts, it is Christians alone. So no Muslim will infiltrate into that particular place. This is something that we need to understand.
So essentially what you're saying is that they have divided the coastline between themselves, and the Hindus are putting their finger in their thumb in their mouth and watching this whole thing happening. I did not know that Shailendra Babu was Christian, and did he not become the state DGP, like the top cop of the state?
Yeah, last time he is the top cop of it. He claims to be a Hindu. I know his wife is a Christian. His wife is the daughter of Harris Nadar from 𝗣𝗽𝗍𝗍. They are Christians. So a Christian marriage cannot be solemnized without a person becoming a Christian, I think. And that is what law says.
So so we have looked at 2 different departments. One is the intelligence department and the police, and also now you are saying that there is a group that essentially runs this thing on its own, and it can see, WhatsApp was used for that heart transplant, but I'm also hearing that now they have got more sophisticated software with encryption that even the police cannot break into.
They can't break. They can't break. Yeah, they have many such software. That is something that we need to understand. I mean, softwares are these things. That's a new developments that are coming to shape. Apart from this, so far the government in Tamil Nadu, the police in Tamil Nadu, just before the DMK government, have busted not 4 or 5 telephone exchanges operating in different parts of Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
And these telephone exchanges, they found that they are making calls to Middle East countries and Pakistan in huge numbers. So, and again, when around 2013 or 2014, I was in discussion with one of the major service provider, that is the mobile network service provider, about the SIM card recharge outlets in Tamil Nadu. So at that time, that particular company said that they have around 1.25 to 1.3 lakh such POS, that is point of sale for recharging their mobile numbers or so. Out of that, 70 to 80,000 belongs to Muslims. Just imagine the monopoly over the communication business. So if this is their monopoly over this, any software they can run. It's not at all an issue for them. You go and take a survey, because we are conducting that survey in some places in Tamil Nadu. So as far as this mobile business, this communication industry is concerned, the mobile network communication, I mean, the Muslim population in Tamil Nadu is about 5.6% according to the census. But in the mobile business, they are close to 60%. It is 10 times disproportionate to their population. And this is how you can understand what monopoly that they are doing in this business. And this is something which you are talking about mobile. But look how they have created the infrastructure. And if you are taking a particular road, and with the 5.6% of your population, you are able to construct this much amount of mosques and Muslim settlements in a particular road, then how meticulously it is being planned. It is not only this East Coast Road, sir. This 10-15 years back, there was a paper advertisement in Tamil Nadu. This advertisement is very clear that we want 5,000 square feet of land in Tirunelveli to Chennai National Highway, that is in the NH, in an interval of 60 to 80 kilometers to construct a mosque and a couple of shops. This is the advertisement. Mosque is not for Muslims. This is what you need to understand. It is between 60 to 80 kilometers on a particular highway. We want a land. We don't want a land for a Muslim. We don't want a land for a mosque for any Muslim community. This land is in an interval of 60 to 80 kilometers in a particular highway. This advertisement came in the newspaper. I put this advertisement in my documentary in 2016. And the good part of that advertisement is the person who has, made this advertisement in the newspaper, released the advertisement in the newspaper, is Hanifa Private Limited, Singapore. My simple question to the government is, how an entity which is operating from some other country can advertisement in an Indian newspaper saying that I will pay money for you to construct a mosque? Is this not a violation under foreign contribution, FCRA or FEMA or FERA? What action the government has taken? All these things are submitted to the government that you have to take some action on these companies. Then, after some years, the same company, the private limited, the Hanifa Private Limited, Singapore, they made another advertisement. That advertisement said that if there is the need for any mosque in any area in Tamil Nadu, they can apply through a mutawali of the local mosque so that funds will be provided. Another advertisement came in the newspaper. Then, after some natural disaster in Tamil Nadu, the same company advertised that we have given 50 lakh rupees or something to some Muslim organizations for this relief work. If I think the government has got a law by the name FEMA Act, I think that I need to remind our top people in Delhi that these are two acts which are there in the government and what action you have taken against those companies. And look,
Well,
this advertisements where you say that I want a place to construct a mosque. But the thing is, I can't do that because 1970 Panchayat Act, after Panchayat Act, you have Panchayat rules framed by the assembly. It says that I can't build a religious structure without the permission, without the sanction of the government. Not only with the permission of Panchayat, I need to get a sanction of it. So this is a fundamental thing which is there in our law. And you give an advertisement that I want to land for mosque. So you ignore everything. So where these 1970 Panchayat rules and other things have gone, where these FEMA and FERA acts have gone, and they are scot-free and they are again and again giving advertisements. And now what happened is, now in these, the roads which I told you that for every 60 to 70, 80 kilometers when the earlier advertisement was there, now mosques have come up in every 30 kilometer interval. So they have even advanced and they have even reduced the interval between one mosque and the other mosque. And now small Muslim communities are getting settled there because with the two shops, some good community comes. And again, people from Bangladesh and other Rohingyas are slowly getting settled in those places. So it's a very sparse settlement. So it won't get the, it won't catch the eye of the authorities or the local Hindu people. And likewise, small settlements in every area is coming. So it is just like a virus attacking all parts of your body. So we call it connectivity jihad. This is connectivity jihad. You go, or go to any railway station, any major in Southern Railway, take any major railway junction. You can see one licensed vendor who is a Muslim. When Ahmad was there as a railway deputy minister during the UPA regime, he has given licenses to those shops. I'm a minister in even in the new NDA government, and even I represented the case. But no action has been taken. And you know one thing, and the last one company, I think it is Aramco or something else, it's run by a Muslim. That particular company has got close to 20 licenses. How you can give 20 licenses to one company? And okay, you may say that these Muslims are doing business, then why are you making it as a religious issue? I can tell you 2 or 3 instances how these stalls, which are taken in lease by the Muslims, are used. A batch of children were taken to Kerala through train. The originating station is somewhere in Assam or Bengal. The police, they stopped the train in Katpadi junction, and the child development board members, everyone, they inspected the documents, and they find that none of these children, they have proper documents, and the person who is taking them along doesn't have an authorized letter or anything with his hand. When they are caught in the railway station, within an hour, 500 Muslims, they get out the railway station, and in the next train, they were sent to the madrasa where they are supposed to be sent. The police came, they asked the authorities, the child development board authorities, to leave them, not to arrest them. Then we come to know it is the local Muslim guys who are there in the station. They have informed the local Muslim organization. Immediately 500 to 700 people, they get out the railway station. This happened in Katpadi. Then another guy, by the name, I think his name is Mustafa or something else, he is running a canteen in Erode railway junction. His vehicle met with the accident near Madhukarai in Coimbatore. Somewhere around 3.5 or 4.5 crores money was spilled in the road after this accident. When on inquiry, he said that he is going from there to Malappuram, and we all know what Malappuram is all about. And even if the entire Erode is eating for a month, you are not going to get a bill of 3.5 to 4.5 crores. From where this money has come? No investigation was made. The money was taken, seized by the police, and the police said that he has shown all the records for that money, and they were let off. This is in Erode junction. And there is another incident happened in Thondayarpet junction near Chennai. It is again a group of people without proper traveling documents. Again, Muslims get out and they were sent back. And it is not one place or the other. Every place where you go, most of the canteens, they function like this. And Coimbatore, that you know very well Coimbatore because you are from there. Some years back, the canteen in Coimbatore went for a whopping 40 odd lakhs in lease. And you know, it is not worth more than 30 to 35 lakhs. Then why the Muslims are taking it on lease for this much higher amount? Then I subsequently heard from some people who are in the department that the person who take that canteen on lease for 40 odd lakhs sublet it for 30 odd lakhs. And this is for the first time I heard this. Then what is the need for taking these licenses? So is it for the purpose, is it for a commercial purpose, or is it for some other purpose? So your roads are blocked. Then what we call in our term, the latitudinal and longitudinal roads of Tamil Nadu. So the longitudinal roads runs from north to south, that is the 𝗖𝚎 or what you talked about initially, and then from Chennai down to Kanyakumari, and then from Bangalore down to Kanyakumari. These are the north-south roads. They are the longitudinal roads. Travel through the roads. For every 30 kilometers, you can see one. The latitudinal road that connects Kerala to Tamil Nadu through Western Ghats. Every 20 to 25 kilometers, you can see this mosque and other things. So they have created a mesh. So the entire road communication is now taken over. Railway junctions are taken over. That is almost gone. Now take a survey on travel ticketing agents in Tamil Nadu. Mostly they are Muslims. So your air communication is already being taken over. Go to any major place, even in Chennai or Coimbatore, do for an Ola or Uber or some call taxi. Every second person you get a Muslim driver. Go to any auto stand, you can see that. And in most of the major junctions, PFI's political outfit, SDPI is having an organization by the name SDTU, Social Democratic Trade Union. They are in almost every major transport hub. They are in the transport union sector. Now they have grown as a major union. So your road network, your rail network, your traveling and ticketing things, your local taxi or cab network. Then I previously mentioned about the mobile networks and other things. That is the communication network. Then the C network. What I spoke about this ECR and other stuffs. So whatever comes under the bracket of communication, it is now firmly taken over by them. That is why I call it as communication jihad. This is not only in Tamil Nadu, you go to Kerala, you can find it. When in North India, if you go through North India, you can find the same thing. Wherever there is a very big bridge or something else, you can find some shops either underneath it or near it. So this is a systematic checking over of a system, so that if I plan, I can choke the entire state. Now they are in such a position. Generally in defense, we used to do that. If you are going to invade a country or something else, first you cut off the supply lines or you take over the supply lines. And this is as a military strategy. This is now in place in our place. This is something we need to understand. Even in corner buildings are now systematically purchased. Why are you purchasing corner buildings? So we have put everything in the documentary with all video evidences.
Food for thought. And see, the bigger problem here is some hand is planning all these things out meticulously, district by district, taluk by taluk. So who is that organization? I mean, banning PFI, they'll morph into something else, because SIMI morphed into PFI, and they have basically the same set. And it's the same thing in the United States also, Gowthaman. You shut down one organization for terrorist links, something else with the same set of office bearers takes shoot. It will be new ones. Same thing again and again and again and again. And somehow, people are very blasé to this. You see, the thing is, if you are just doing it to do business, that's one thing. But here it is never business. This religion's whole goal of existence is to eliminate anybody who doesn't believe in their religion. So that is where the problem is.
So banning an organization is not going to be an issue. This is what I am repeatedly telling for the last 15 to 20 years. The madrasa network and the indoctrination, what they do, they have now created an infrastructure, a radicalizing infrastructure. This infrastructure is initially it was funded by Saudi Arabia. Then it was for some time funded by Turkey. Sometime China funded through Pakistan for this network. So the thing is, if you are going to neutralize Pakistan, Saudi Arabia will take over. If Saudi Arabia says, oh, no, we are not going to go do this, we are going to come out of Wahhabism, then Malaysia is going to take over the same network. So the thing is, what we need to understand is either it is Europe or countries like us. We need to understand how to dismantle this infrastructure. This is going to be in place. The leadership is going to change. I met one person who is a very big Tamil scholar, very close to DMK. I don't want to name him. And whenever any government comes, he goes to either close to that chief minister or that chief minister. He is a very good scholar. So someone asked him, "Sir, you are a great scholar. How it is possible for you to stoop to each and every feat whichever comes there? Is it not embarrassing for you?" So he replied, "I am not doing this. You have misunderstood me. I fell for one time. The feet alone changed. So this is his reply. Okay. Likewise, this infrastructure is going to be the same. The boss is going to change. So unless or otherwise, 2-3 things that any government, whether it is in Europe or in US or India, any country, they have to do one thing. First, you have to accept, you have to acknowledge that the fundamental reason for terror is certain preachings of Quran and Hadith. And unless or otherwise you are not putting an end to that, this is going to produce radical elements. There should not be any compromise on this, number one. Number two, that you need to understand, you need to instill nationalism, national pride, or give national identity to all your citizens. You have to make people understand, okay, my forefathers might have converted to some other religion or so, but I belong to a particular culture. This sense of cultural identity needs to be put in place through all educational system and whatever means through which this can be brought in any system. This needs to be done. If these two things are not going to be done, I think you can't do away with this. This is going to be a continuous menace. I mean, it's an open and shut case, sir.
Thank you so much, Gowthaman ji. And there will be more information. Everything is factual, viewers, here. We are not making up any stories. And it's for the authorities to take a bigger picture of how this is being done and go about dismantling the infrastructure. Mindset also has to change. Already I'm hearing that much of the radicalization of Islam has been outsourced by Saudi Arabia to Turkey. So that is now becoming the place where all this stuff comes from. You notice that Turkey, which used to be a modern democracy, has completely turned radical now.
Yes, sir. Now, every country is now, since these infrastructures were set up all through the world, any Muslim nation which is going to become powerful, they wanted to become a caliph. Look, this is something that we need to understand. Now, America is going down. That we need to accept, because America has to get their things right, because China is slowly creeping into your political system and your universities and other places. They are now going everywhere. And none of the people there in Europe or US, they don't understand that is, allowing immigration is not going to hurt you. And this is some foolish thinking, and then you are daydreaming. And you are, inviting trouble for yourself. And this is something which is happening. So when you have a democratic setup, and you say that you are always the custodians of your democracy and other things, but the immigrants are not, they are the followers of democracy. They know how to make use of the democracy to finish of you. And the average growth rate of a European race is around what, 1.6 or something else for a couple? 1.5 to 1.6, so your population is going down. And the average productivity of them is around 24%, that is 2.5 or something else. So you will be soon outnumbered. And this is happening on the other side. So when this system is in place, now there won't be any check or any one global leader or a global leader from a particular principle, maybe democracy, maybe you can call it democracy, or you can call it some other benchmark. There won't be any such type of a world leadership for the next in another 20-30 years. So every developing country will have a chance to throw their superiority into the ring. So any Muslim country will say, now the Muslim population is going to go up. Many countries will become Muslim in the next 50-60 years. So if any country wants to become a leader, then this is one infrastructure any country will try to make use of. This is initially US used through Taliban or through Al-Qaeda for their political purposes. They never realized that Quran and Hadith will indoctrinate people above their political ambitions and other stuffs. And this is one mistake. The entire Europe has done, because the reason is they don't have any knowledge about what Islam is. They don't have any knowledge about how Islam has grown. They have no knowledge about how this madrasas can work with an ordinary Islamic mind. And this is where they really failed. So now Malaysia will now triumph. Or if any Muslim country which is going to become not, even tomorrow, UK, as your vice president candidate, Vance said that it is a Muslim country with a nuclear bomb. That is a statement on United Kingdom after day before yesterday or so. So if that is going to happen, a superior, if a major chunk of MPs are going to come from these sections, like this liberal Muslim access in Germany, France, and other things, they will try to invest some money on some Muslim country and try to make them as a global leader. This was what Turkey did during the Ottoman period, and Arabia did that when they are in power, and what Turkey again wanted to do it. So it is
Let's take a few questions, sir.
I mean, this will prove those countries to become world leaders. This is something that we need to understand. So unless or otherwise you take this element out of Islam, this problem is not going to have an end. You are going to promote powerful Muslim nations and powerful radicalized groups in every country of the world.
So let's take a few questions. This is open. We will come back to this topic in a few weeks' time. It's a bit discouraging that the number of people watching this program is so few. This impacts people worldwide. It's not just one country, one state. You need to understand where we are coming from. We are presenting you with facts. Somebody is carefully planning all these things, and they have unlimited resources. Unlimited resources. They do strategic buying, and they do that thing by overbidding. And people are just greedy. They just say, okay, fine, this guy is willing to do two times sometimes for the price of what the market will bear, and they just go and sell it to them. So this is a huge problem. Gowthaman, we have a few questions.
Sir, before going to the question, I just want to make an addition to your point that in Europe or whichever country you are, the four major madrasas that provide you stuff to radicalize all originated in India. This is something that we need to understand.
Yes.
Either it is Deobandi or Tablighi Jamaat or Jamaates or anything, it is Haryana, Western UP, Rajasthan. This tri-junction is responsible for all these things that is happening in the world. And you need to understand that India is still 80% Hindu. It is not a Muslim nation. But now this is a lesson that Europe and America has to learn. How even a minority Muslim country, where something got originated, which can destroy the entire world. This has taken over the entire Islamic world and radicalized it. And they have found a leader somewhere else, because Islam doesn't have boundaries. This is something that the world needs to understand.
Gowthamanji, this is again outsourcing, plain and simple. Sir, we have a lot of questions. Appreciate it if you can keep the answers to 1 minute or less. And I just want to tell one thing before we go into question and answers. Can we show the slide deck, the slide, please? Viewers, you can get your own notifications by joining the WhatsApp channel titled PGurus for English and PGurus Tamil for Tamil. And when you do that, you will be able to see, like for example here, you have to go to not chats, which is where most of our chats are in WhatsApp, but you need to go to the first, thank you. The channel link is in the description section. You need to go to updates. Channel information about PGurus, for example, will not come in chats. It will come in updates. Can you go to the next one, please? You have to click on that to get the latest information. And when you do that, you will come to this next screen. So this is what a channel looks like, which is like any WhatsApp chat feed, except by default, that is when you start out, the notifications are muted. So you need to see the circled at the top right. You need to go and unmute that so that you will get notifications. When we put a new video, you will get notifications like at the bottom, just like the way you get a WhatsApp message notifications. You can just click on that and immediately you can start watching. Why we are saying all this is because we are not very sure what is going on as far as notifications is concerned. Gowthaman ji, this is an option for you also for Sree TV, because there is heavy shadow banning. WhatsApp is one-to-one. If they go to the channel and they set it up correctly, they will get notifications. So instead of YouTube sending notification about a YouTube video to you, PGurus uses PGurus WhatsApp channel to send you the same notification. No difference.
We'll do that.
Yeah. That way, we have to get around to learn this system and be better at it. Sir, appreciate it if 1 minute or less answers for all these questions, sir. Thank you. Magnet Ranga wants to know, why are certain sections treated with kid gloves in opposition rule states, especially Tamil Nadu? Giving special treatment is one thing, but looking the other way at wrongs is just not okay. Worse in West Bengal. You see the results they are getting, Magnet Ranga. Why would they do anything to them? Over to you, sir.
That is why BJP is losing. But the central government has to think that we need to act fast in these states. And apart from governmental intervention, Hindus have to get themselves organized, and you have to equip yourself for this modern day battle. This is something that we need to. We don't have knowledge-based cadres like the Muslims. As Sree Iyer, when in the beginning he pointed out usage of softwares and technologies. When I was doing a shooting somewhere down, when I entered into a particular place, before coming out of it, I was encircled by people around. That is how fast they communicated even in 2015, where most of our, even our city people, they don't know how to use WhatsApp properly. So this knowledge-based cadre, and it's well-trained cadre, they have. Something of this sort, Hindus need to create. I mean, this has to come from the society, then government can really contribute to that, to weed these things out. This is my opinion.
And every group of 1,000 families should have a 𝗤𝗲𝘘𝗍 center so that the girls can get trained how to protect themselves. That is the next target. I'm telling you, it's already happening, love jihad, but that will be more on a higher gear. Once you take away the girls from the community, what happens? There are no more reproductive areas, places, people. Look, these people have the plan and they are mercilessly executing it. And some stupid politicians are too dumbass. They just want to stay in power. They are losing the thing because someday their own neck is also going to be on the line. That is the thing that I'm concerned about. Next one, please. Hang on. Yeah. This we have already done. Next one, please. I'll get it. Sorry. Yeah. Sree Iyer wants to know, with so many of these things, railway station eateries, reading government permissions, and with government being so anti-Hindu, what can we do?
We have given some representation to the government on this, but unfortunately, in their priority list, it is not there. This is what I understood. Something that the government can try to do is that before getting these licenses, that you need to go for a mandatory police verification. This is something that you can make. Law is in your hands, whether to make or break. So some type of thing the government can bring in their agenda, so that the excluding a particular person based on some other concern can be given to the Home Ministry, so that Home Ministry can do it within the constitutional ambit. And this is something that the government can do. The second thing, I mean, before in some other program I mentioned about, we need to sensitize Hindus only to purchase from a Hindu shop. This sensitization has to go along, number 2. And point number 3, what as a community that we can do, that we need to create, a movement like what we have done in when there was riots in Gamut, when the Muslims now they denied permission for Ganesh Chaturthi, the local Hindus said that we are not going to purchase from any Muslim shop. Immediately all the riots stopped. So the total community awareness, which we have tested in many other places, even in Kanyakumari, when the entire Christian community were fishermen. So Hindus during 1982 riot, they decided that we are not going to eat fish. Riot stopped immediately. So that's a mass community awareness as well as resurgence programs. Those things need to be organized. For this, we need to have a Hindu missionary agenda. This is something that we need to set sooner, because if this goes after 10 years, it is useless, because demography will not favor you. And this is something that Hindus needs to think of.
Next one, please. Sarvani Thumuluri wants to know, sir, what do you think the government can do to de-radicalize the extremist people in our country? The radical Islam is being spread with a well-established structure.
I don't think that any de-radicalization program worked anywhere in the world. And this is a bakwas which each and every government tried to fool people that we have de-radicalized so and so. And some of the de-radicalized program, I say, because the thing is, it's a very crude language what you use. This is a word we use in Tamil. That is, you are getting a person married after the menstrual cycle. And this is like that. Most of the people who surrender, the terrorists or the radical elements, they surrender after 35 or so. So before that, whatever you want to do, you have completed everything. And because of the de-radicalization program, you are going to get some government benefits. So going through this de-radicalization is giving pension for a radicalized person for doing all terror activities. I think this is happening everywhere. And how many de-radicalized people, they have shunned away, or they have again created some awareness among the Muslim community to get them away from de-radicalization in any part of the world. Just show me one place. It is not that. This de-radicalization is a bakwas. And people like Hindus and the government officials, they want to show the democratic world that we are not using pressure, we are playing mind games, and we are, approaching people psychologically. So these things are, ornamental things, which I don't believe.
Next one, please. Live and Net Live wants to know, in every 1 month, we have a train accident. What's going on?
I have a doubt about it. Even when the train fires were happening also, I mentioned about this in the
yes. Accident. Fire accident.
Yeah, and again in Bengal also, they said there was a problem in the recent train accident. In some places in Bengal, the signals were being blocked, and these issues also came up. So in the train accidents, yes, I have a doubt. And to add to my doubt, Rahul recently said that he met some loco pilots, and then the loco pilots have to go on some program in some protest or something. So this adds up to my suspicion that something is happening.
Next one, please. Gyanambigay Ratna Sabhapati wants to know, Sri Lankan Muslims are given a free ride through the Chennai airport, while Sri Lankan Tamil Hindus, especially from northern and eastern provinces, are asked 1,001 questions at the airport counter.
Sir, this is one thing that you need to understand. There is no Muslim by the name Sri Lankan Muslim or Indian Muslim or something else. It is a Muslim Sri Lanka. It is a Muslim Indian. It is a Muslim Arab. And this is the identity. When it comes to us, all these identities will come. So, the reason is any Muslim who is there in our Chennai, he associates himself with the other Muslim. It doesn't mean whether he is from Sri Lanka or India. Country identity is not for Islam. Country identity is not for Christianity. It is only for us.
Next one, please. 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝘀𝘁 Kumaraswamy wants to know, the democratic government gives freedom, a red carpet to this minority community to practice long-term goals of silence the Hindu identity. Question is how the government can curtail and even maybe there's a continuation. Well, I think we get the idea, Kumaraswamy. That's why we are telling you all these things. We have first-hand information of what is going on. Gowthaman ji has made it his life mission to find out what is going on. He has been ceaselessly campaigning for this for years. And how does PGurus get rewarded? 100 to 1,000 people complaining that we are broadcasting bad stuff. That's what happened to Sree TV also. I mean, this is getting ridiculous, beyond the ridiculous. These are facts. They don't want you to know the facts. Sir, next question. Arvind TSY wants to know, sir, what do you think about the charge that BJP is a nationalistic but Hino party and their politics polarizes and mobilizes communities against Hindus?
I don't think so, because now Hindu polarization has brought BJP to power, no doubt about it. But the problem is the understanding of various other factors, and the understanding of jihad or missionary motives. As far as these areas are concerned, Hindu organizations, they don't have a larger or a bigger mission, research backing, or they have not dedicated any of their time for these purposes. So the thing is, because of this brute Hindu majority, I think things are moving on so nicely, but they are not understanding that for the sack is slowly removed down their toes, and this is happening slowly, and they have not realized. And I think it's Kalpana Daridriyam is there, that they have to work on it.
Next one, please. Last question, sir. Sarvani Tumluri, thank you so much. When Indian society faced discrimination in the name of caste, the then Indian society called it spade a spade and brought reforms. The problem is in the guise of religion now. Government should solve this.
The two things that you need to understand: calling spade a spade is not wrong. But the problem in as far as caste system is concerned, you called a knife a sword, and that is the problem that comes in, because you overplayed it. But when it comes to religion, you underplay it and you never play it. That is a problem. So this is something that we need to expose. Since you overplayed the caste, it becomes easy for the Muslims to make use of these things. And this is something that we need to understand. So you are not playing something which is supposed to be played. You overplayed something which you can very well settle it out amicably. That is what happened in India, and that is the reason for all these issues.
Thank you so much, Gowthaman ji. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. He'll be back next Thursday, 8 p.m. time permitting, and if he's not traveling. And we'll be hearing more such cases from Gowthaman ji. Gowthaman ji, thank you so much, sir. Namaskar, and we'll see you again very soon. Thank you.